like the stork of WWE. Who knows? Who knows what's gonna happen?
Oh, man.
All right, guys. We can get into pay-per-view weekend that just passed. AEW Double or Nothing. I was reading about that. I saw some clips from it. What do you guys can tell me about that? I saw the crazy. What was that? Was that a fucking carjack battery?
You talking about you talking about the super? You talking about the super kick Matt Jackson?
The newest level of the Young Bucks super kick doing crazy.
Exactly. I don't know how they did that.
So apparently he had some type of like pyro explosive in his sneaker, and so obviously, and who was the recipient of the kick? I think it was Moxley. So
Moxley,
yeah.
Who else signed up for that?
Who else is going to just take it? Yes. All right, but if I can talk, all right. So about Double or Nothing, I'll say this, and this is just my opinion. If it wasn't for the fatal 4-way match for the AEW title, the Four Pillars match, and then this Anarchy in the Arena match after, those two matches saved that show. Because before, no, I'm just saying when you look.
That's what I was hearing. That's what I was seeing people say. Yeah.
Exactly. Those two matches saved that show. Because everything that happened before was either boring, so slow paced, or because AEW style on TV, on Rampage, on Dynamite, it's pretty much is what it is. And then they try to amp that up on the pay-per-view, and it's just like, well, you can't really amp that up because you've already amped it up enough on Wednesdays and Fridays. So you have that. Jade is no longer undefeated. And when you look at how they booked it, they pretty much took a page out of Yokozuna, Bret Hart, and Hulk Hogan in a sense. They took a page out of that. Not so much of Taya telling Chris Statlander to go after her, but then Mark Sterling cutting the promo in the ring after Jade retained that she's 60-0 and that she'll face anybody, any place, anytime. And then here comes Chris Statlander, for which a lot of people have been saying if anybody's going to beat Jade, it needs to be her.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
what people were saying.
Quick 2-3 minutes. Chris Statlander wins.
I saw that and I didn't like how they did that. Because
you not like the execution or it was
the logic behind it. Like, yes to anytime, anywhere, but what does that do for Chris Statlander winning in that fashion? I understand just getting the belt off Jade, and it's like they should have a match.
Yeah.
And Chris Statlander should be passing of the torch, essentially.
I wonder if the thinking was because it was her 60th win, and as the heel, you're thinking, you're 60-0. I beat 60 women. There's nobody left. So any other woman can come down here. I'm just gonna win now. So it's like, that was the logic with Jade. But as far as Jade goes as a talent, even with the 60-0 record and the look and everything, I feel like she has gotten better. But with the 60 victories, you definitely have to have the expectation that she should be a lot farther along than she is.
Yeah.
Now, like she has the like we said, she has the look, she has the character. Now she doesn't have the undefeated streak anymore. I mean, when people talk about Goldberg as much as we do on this show, I mean, after he lost that undefeated streak, as a character, he was dead because there was nothing more to him besides that undefeated streak, because he already wasn't a great wrestler and had two moves that pretty much he made his whole wrestling career with.
Mm-hmm.
With Jade, it's different because even now you don't have the undefeated streak anymore. Now as a character, and she already has such a great character. Now you can just progress that moving forward. Mm-hmm. But to go into the show some more, one match that I felt was underwhelming and a disappointment was Chris Jericho and Adam Cole.
Mm-hmm.
Second match of the night.
That match was not hitting whatsoever.
Yeah, it's just like
they just can't book that man correctly.
You say the names Jericho and Adam Cole, you have high expectations.
Mm-hmm.
And the way the match was booked, with Sabu being with the special enforcer and Roderick Strong coming out and the whole Jericho Appreciation Society coming out, Sabu still acting like still thinking it's 94
That
put some of that.
I don't know. They should
Who's
have
the
just
only
used.
man that can contain these two warriors? A 50-year-old warrior.
I'm sorry. And my thing is, AEW has done a good job using their legends. Sting, Arn Anderson, Jake the Snake Roberts when he was in there, because they have their little spots and that's it. But like Sabu, like that man has put his body through the ringer. I don't know what his health conditions are. He came out in a suit when they announced him, and then he came out in a suit at the pay-per-view. So I'm like, what is like? You could have been like a mentor or whatever, but it was just such a random pairing just to get a pop, and it just, and like the match itself, like Brian said, it's just, and you would think because Chris Jericho has still been putting on quality matches, but this match was the first one I was like, why are these two guys not clicking? Adam Cole is a great talent. Chris Jericho has the mind for the business and everything that he's accomplished. And at this point, he's literally just putting people over like nonstop, because, at one point it was like, you beat Chris Jericho. Like that's your like, all right, you're moving on up, whatever. But now it's just becoming, he's been losing nonstop. But this match was just like why? Like I get the whole, they're doing the whole story with him, and just now, Cole and Britt Baker and all that stuff, but it wasn't clicking, and the ending to the match was like, he was just punching him in the face, and but it's unsanctioned, but yet that's a sanction to stop the match. It didn't make any sense.
That didn't make any sense. The match is unsanctioned, so therefore there should be no referee stoppage. I mean, it's literally.
First of all, Adam Cole should have got the 1, 2, 3. That's definitive. That's the definitive.
Or even like made him tap or something, but it was just like
I don't know, man. Tequila Sunrise, man. That should have been it.
But like Brian said though, like the 4 Pillars match, that match was actually very well. That was actually
match of the night.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, I had an expectation for that for that match, and like a lot of those spots. I know when you watch AEW's match and their indie style, some of the stuff can be a little much. But for the purposes of this match, to show that these are the 4 pillars of the company, it kind of, you really did see the strengths of each guy. Darby being the risk taker, and then you got Sammy Guevara, who's a risk taker in of itself. Yeah, the Spanish God. Then you got Jungle Boy and MJF themselves. The build to the match wasn't the best because it kind of exposed some of these guys. I mean, like for instance, Jungle Boy's not that great on the mic, so whenever they had those in-ring promos, you saw how weak he was in that aspect. Darby too. MJF completely destroyed all 3 of them. To be honest, verbally as promos go, MJF destroyed all 3 of them.
Yeah,
but
MJF has great promo skills, and it's like I love that they let him kind of do whatever the hell he wants, and you call it a character or his persona or whatever, but that man knows. He knows how to get a reaction. He blurs the lines so much where you're like, is this dude literally an asshole? Or is it, and I don't know. He's in as much, he's like, I'm just so fucking good. I'm the greatest. And, you got to have that confidence. And that's why he has the title right now. And it's funny because in the press conference thing, he's just like, who else is left? And it's just like, you just had this 4 Pillars match, and it's like, all right, who's coming up to the plate next? Who's gonna, or are you just gonna cycle through and, unless you
should they have cycled through, like MJF go through those guys one at a time, and then they have that 4-way match?
I think it was a nice spot to have all of them because it's like, Double or Nothing was their first pay-per-view, so it's like to come full circle and have these literally the 4 guys who started off,
originals.
Exactly, and still be there is a nice gesture to like show like, you know, these guys are our pillars. These are the four corners of our industry and shit. So I think eventually they're, you know, he'll probably end up getting one-on-ones. But then the thing is, he's also had one-on-ones with them in the past. So now it's like, all right, are they gonna do one pay-per-view he goes against Darby, another one against Jumbo, another one is like, I don't think MJF is losing the title anytime soon.
He's not.
Unless
He shouldn't.
I don't think he should.
I don't watch much AEW, but he shouldn't.
He's gonna hold the title until the end of the year, until his deal is up.
Until winter is coming.
Easily I don't think he'll leave AEW. I don't think.
Oh no. He should definitely play that up.
Yeah.
He should continue to play that up.
Yeah.
But
he could pull like, I don't got anybody left to prove anything to, so unless it's worthy,
if that happened to AEW, that would kill him. I mean, if he left, oh my goodness, man!
Not left, but like if he kind of pulls like I want like a Roman deal, like I'm only gonna wrestle certain dates, and it better be against like top players, you know. Like,
I mean, he's pretty much working less than Roman is right now.
Yeah, there's somebody.
He shows up every week, but he's not wrestling every week.
Roman wrestles more pay-per-view matches than MJF did. So,
but I was thinking about along the lines kind of how like JBL booking when he faced The Undertaker, he faced Booker T, he faced Eddie Guerrero. And then he had him in a fatal 4-way at Armageddon. I thought that would be a nice way to build those other guys up, like actually chasing MJF. But again, MJF shouldn't lose anytime soon. He's that good. And then when he eventually loses at any point in time, it's going to make the win feel that much bigger because he's been conniving, swindling his way out of every match, being a heel, talking shit. So when eventually he loses to who gives the rub to, hopefully it's somebody that actually deserves it and not just another guy that they brought in and called in. Hopefully it's to one of those guys to actually give them that rub and let them get that run and get that shine on.
So Lewis, what did you think of the tag team title match between FTR, Jay Lethal, and Jeff Jarrett? I just want to get your thoughts.
I don't like Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett.
I just don't like Jeff Jarrett. I'm to be honest with you.
Yeah, I don't
like his podcast, but not him as a character right now.
And you know what? I'll give him his credit. The man's been wrestling since I don't know how long, and he still looks in great shape, man. Still has a full head of hair. Mm-hmm. But it's just like it's not believable that they're gonna be FTR. That's why I'm like, you know, it's just like, dude, give me like, and they try to play the whole, you know, Jay Briscoe thing into it, and it's like, but is this really gonna go that way? Like, the man's not dumb. Like, I don't know, just like the story into it. I'm like, we know where this is going. Like, it just wasn't. I don't know. I'm at the point where I was like, if I don't believe the other person can actually win the match, like, it's just, it doesn't even do it for me. It's like, if I don't. Yeah, I need it to be more of like, oh shit, this could actually go one or either way. But if it's just like because too gimmicky and like,
is that because FTR is so good? Like FTR is the best tag team, right? Like FTR is respected right now, and it's just like we don't want to see Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal face
that's why I was even at the fucking the Guns freaking had the titles from them. I was like, these guys are good, but they're not like characters.
That shouldn't have been who got the win. That shouldn't have been who got the win.
Anyway, to me, but
yeah, but sadly, I only asked you that question, Lewis, because to me, the highlight of that match was Karen Jarrett hitting Aubrey Edwards with the guitar.
Yo, I've never seen a ref get
a ref and Karen got like the ultimate heel treatment. Anytime the crowd chants "fuck you," that's the ultimate. she's like the ultimate heel. And I remember Karen Jarrett from the Impact days, and how pretty much how everyone has this idea that Jeff stole Karen from Kurt Angle, and that's the reason why. That's the reason why everyone hates her to this day. But it's not even the real story. But everyone just has this idea that like, Jeff stole Karen from Kurt Angle. So everyone hates Karen Jarrett so much because of that. So with the guitar, I I was just dying. I'm like, yo, this
Heel
is
heel heat.
But yeah, what was the other match? The one with Orange Cassidy, the Battle Royal.
Oh yeah, the
which
first match of the night, the Battle Royal.
I thought, I'm like, come on, you're really gonna do a Battle Royal for somebody who has a title? That's my only thing. I'm like, if it was vacant, yeah, do a fucking Battle Royal, but or at least do it for a number one contender. But to put the champion in there and then he still wins,
you don't like Roman Reigns facing 29 other superstars to keep his championship. You didn't like that?
No possible way that he couldn't lose. Like, come on.
I mean, yeah, they did that. That was nice. It was
I didn't like the booking that they did.
We got AJ Styles out of it. that was the debut of AJ Styles.
I'm like, I didn't like the booking, the Austin booking they tried to give Roman Reigns when everyone hates him. Yeah. He's in the ambulance. Oh no. Oh no, that was terrible. But what do you guys think about NXT Battleground? I thought NXT was awesome. A lot of the matches that happened. I can never pronounce the English dude's name. Dragunov. Dragunov versus
that man's a beast. That man,
whatever the hell's name is,
beast.
I was like, good God.
You talk about hard hitting physicality. I mean,
I'm like, they signed up for this.
Dude, that man knows how to put on a show. If you go back,
NXT UK. Mm-hmm.
No, I know, but it was when I think it was right after NXT UK like kind of ended.
Mm-hmm.
It was him versus Gunther. My lord,
was it for the title? About the match?
Yes,
when he ended Gunther, right?
Mm-hmm. I don't. Yeah, actually, yeah, it's the one where he beat him.
Yeah, they had a match before that for the title. When they were still doing the NXT UK during the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
They beat the fuck out of each other. These was legit like smacking the shit out of each other, and people were saying like, "Oh, this is a match of the year."
No, Walter killed people.
Out of each other.
Walter killed people in NXT UK. Like I still remember the Tyler Bate match. Like I'm like, yo, like what are we doing here? Like the hard hitting shit they were doing. Like, god damn, man. Like, and that was a hard hitting match. The British Rules match, the Heritage Cup match, that was different. Kind of reminded me of the.
I had never actually seen that.
I think Impact did that, like that type of rules where they had 5-minute rounds and stuff like that, and that was the first time I saw it. But NXT's version of it is not bad, and I thought that was an entertaining match. And just the way that ended, I was just like, oh, okay, I don't know Lash Legend. I know she's on NXT Level Up and stuff like that, and Dakota Jackson, right?
What is it with them putting Noam Dar with black women though?
I honestly forgot who he was.
With Alicia Fox, and now they're putting him with Lash and the other girl now. That. I'm like, yo, yeah, he must be requesting that. Like, yo, put me
with them, please.
Well, they're just putting him with black women.
I like their style.
I love putting him with some black women. I was like, okay,
the two lovely black women. Yeah, put me with them. Yeah, we can use them. Wesley and Tyler Bate and Joe Great.
That was a good match.
Gacy, that was a good match. Wesley is just putting on for that title, right? Like every match is just a banger. Mm-hmm. Like they're building up real good. Joe Gacy scares me. His body type is weird.
You don't like the sophisticated Bray Wyatt?
I love me some Joe weird, man. But no, that was a really great match to open it up. Gallus going up against the Creed brothers. I thought that was a good match. I like Gallus. I like their look. I remember Joe Coffey when he went up against Walter and got his ass kicked. Like I remember.
Are
that.
they with Chisholm?
She came out. Ava Raine, The Rock's daughter, came out at the end and cost the Creed brothers the match. I don't know if she just has a feud with the who's the chick with them.
Yeah, the girl. I don't know.
Ivy Nile, whatever her name is. Yeah, I don't know too much about her, but I guess she just has a rivalry going with her, and that's what caused the match. But I like Gallus. They're tough. They're big. They beat up shit. Yeah. Tiffany Stratton versus Valkyrie. Is that her name?
Yeah. Ty Valkyrie. Right?
I was
no.
Ty, not Ty. Just
Lyra.
No, Ty Valkyrie.
I'll mix them up.
It's
AEW?
Lyra.
Yeah,
Taya,
I get them
is
confused.
AEW. Lyra is NXT. Lyra.
but her last
Lyra
name's Valkyrie too,
okay,
right?
Okay.
Yeah. The last
Yeah,
name
yeah.
Valkyrie. Yeah.
But Tiffany Stratton, I was impressed by her. I was like, oh shit. I thought she was just some blonde girl that wrestled in whatever they were trying to build up underneath. I'm like, oh, these women can actually go. And I like the selling of the knee in that match and how everything was going throughout that match. I thought that was pretty good to crown a new women's champion. What do you guys think about that, especially with Carmelo Hayes and Braun Breaker?
Oh, that match was great.
That spear.
That's not even the first time he's been catching him.
Like 3 times. I'm like, God damn.
I don't know how he doesn't literally break a rib. I don't know how he doesn't break a rib every time.
I was just like, holy shit.
This dude clean midair.
Yeah, and they've done that spot a few times, and each time it's like
every time it's just like, oh.
The very first one he did.
So are you saying move out the way Goldberg for Spears?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
I don't know, man. I've seen
maybe not 90s Goldberg, but this is pretty damn close. This is like
it's hard hitting, and Braun Breaker being a heel right now. Reportedly, I think they said him and the Creed brothers might be getting a push to the main roster at some point. So I saw that little report there, but those guys can really go. Braun Breaker's a beast, man. He's a beast.
He's definitely a way better heel than anything.
Is that a potential guy that they can put on Raw as a heel to go against Seth like that? He's like he's ready.
Prime. He's prime.
Like we don't need any more of him on NXT. We don't need that. Like put him on the main roster. Yeah. Have him go. Have him be a dog on Raw.
But NXT needs him right now. Sadly, they kind of need that. You would think now because Baron Corbin and Ali and some of these other guys that they're trying to bring up and such. But as far as like established characters go for that brand,
Grayson Waller's on SmackDown.
Yeah, Grayson Waller's on SmackDown.
That's true.
And then you look at their women's division. Now you see why Mandy Rose was champion for that full year. Because since she's been gone, we've had Roxanne,
Cora Jade.
I mean, you got Roxanne. She was defending.
What happened with the Roxanne Perez? Because she was champ, and then there was like some injury.
Yeah,
she dropped the title, but then she was in the ladder match title. And I was like,
I think the storyline was that she was leading up to the match with Miko Satomura. She was doing training sessions with Miko Satomura, and those training sessions were like really extreme. So then when she retained the title, all of that coming together made her pass out in the ring. And then
was that actually real or was that work?
I think it was a work.
It was a Shawn Michaels work.
Yeah, it was a
Shawn Michaels did it way back in the day, and he thought it would work now. And
it just didn't make sense that she would have to relinquish her title.
Yeah, because they weren't sure if she was going to be cleared. So then they took the title off of her.
And then she lost anyway.
Then she lost the title to Indy Hartwell.
And then she loses it because she gets called up and everything.
Did she break her ankle? She did something to her foot.
Yeah, she lost to Tiffany Stratton, which heel character-wise, Tiffany Stratton is the best female heel that they have right now.
Yeah, for sure.
But as far as babyface women for her to go up against, they're kind of snake bit. After Roxanne, they really.
Jade's a heel, right?
Yeah, Cora Jade is a heel. I mean, Nikita Lyons is still hurt and coming back. Sol Ruka, the surfer girl they had, she's hurt.
All the women
are Lyons.
All the women are hurt.
Exactly. I was saying the division is snake, but that's why people were complaining about Mandy Rose being champion down there. I mean, look at their division. That's why. That's why she was champion. Everybody was chasing her.
They just called Abel Fire and
exactly two women
to SmackDown. So it's like who do they have left? So that's why we're seeing Lash Legend and Dakota Jackson and all these other people try to get involved. So we'll see what happens with that. But I might
need to keep up with NXT now that I finally watched the pay-per-view. I was trying to watch the last one and I never even got a chance to finish it.
Like I always try to catch like a show every now and then I just try to watch the pay-per-view because again, there's too much wrestling.
Dude, I was an NXT guy religiously for like and it was literally almost from the beginning, literally from when Sammy won the title all the way until that was beautiful storytelling. And he had a broken nose that night too. Until I don't even remember what was the last one before the whole 2.0 thing. I don't even remember who was champ. Was it
Samoa Joe?
Yeah, it was Samoa Joe.
No, who did Braun Breaker beat to get the title?
Tommaso Ciampa.
Ciampa, yeah.
Was it Ciampa?
Yeah.
Dude, I loved
Goldie.
Oh my God,
he was a great heel, man. He did some great work, man. He's very underrated, man.
That entire feud with Johnny Gargano is NXT.
Epic. That's and I don't care. I love Samoa Joe's work in NXT. Him and Shinsuke, Bobby Roode.
His early work.
So good, dude.
His early work, but when they had him come back and to win it again, I was just like, this is the guy to beat Karrion Kross. This is the guy. This is the guy.
That's another person I'm worried about. I don't know if Karrion Kross is gonna make it or not.
He was in front row at a Night of Champions, so they did give him a little camera shine. So hopefully that means something.
He just needs some wins. Like, give him the man some wins.
Yeah, he loses too much. He loses way too much. I'm like, hopefully,
you know who I was surprised who won was Shinsuke. Because I was like,
Bronson Reed, right? Yes.
I was like, there's no way.
It was a good show. That was a good match.
It was a good match. Yeah, but that was one of those matches that is like, these are both guys that they kind of need. They kind of both need the win right now.
I wish they were both
in the match. They should be both in the match. Yeah.
I didn't watch.
But I feel like with Bronson Reed, they're probably going to end up doing like some like big battle royal, and then for the last spot or something, and then Bronson Reed is going to get it, or they'll have like a losers triple threat match, and then Bronson Reed will win. Because I'm thinking there's no way they can have this match without him in it. Because he
needs
he could get like a redemption type thing, maybe to like get back in it or something.
No, but, he's got to be.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get he's definitely gonna get a mid card title before going for like the actual title. But I didn't see this match, but I kind of wish I did, and I saw the highlights. They were like, "Yo, Miz is out here actually wrestling."
No. The Miz every now and then pulls one out his ass.
You're like, yo, Miz is wrestling as hard out against Ricochet right now.
No, it was a pretty good match. The Miz getting Ricochet over, of course, but I just like the way they're setting up that Money in the Bank. I always like tournament type feel type matches, building other guys. You actually see more wrestling. So to have Shinsuke actually get that rub in there, Ricochet get that rub to be in there. Of course, he's going to be in the ladder match. They need somebody to be a high flyer in the ladder match. But of course, I think Bronson Reed should be in there, as you guys talked about. Bronson Reed should definitely be in there, especially his size. Trying to climb the ladder, all those type of things they can make a play on. But no, I like what they're doing, building around. Hopefully, we can start getting actual matches, actual continuations. We saw what happened with Becky Lynch, Zoe Stark, and Trish Stratus beating her down, actually getting the upper hands on her. So it's going to be interesting to see where that goes.
She's going to be a good heel.
Zoe Stark, yeah. I don't remember her too much at NXT like that, but I just know she always had a crazy match.
I like the tail end of the Black and Gold era. She was there, and she was a babyface at first, and I remember saying that like, bro, she looks so much like she looks like she'll be so much more better as a heel than as a babyface.
She was tagging with
Io Shirai. She was tagging with Io in that weird partnership where Io didn't like her, but she made it work anyway. And then she
turned on Nikita Lyons.
Yeah, then she got hurt in the tag team with Nikita Lyons, and then she finally became heel. And it's like, about damn time. Her whole personality, her whole vibe is just screams heel. So
Prick.
she's gonna be cool. The whole vibe just says, the whole vibe is she should be a heel. So
He's a prick. It's an asshole. Let her be an asshole. But no, I think she's going to be very good because especially she can go in the ring. So I think that adds to it. And now I think they're trying to get her heel persona. Of course, pairing her with Trish, who's a heel right now. I think that's a really good move. So we'll see how that continues to build. The Judgment Day. Say it again. Say what you said.
Before we get into that, because we were talking about Bronson Reed, I'm like, I really hope they do Bronson Reed and Gunther soon. I was like, that's gonna be a banger. Which I would honestly leave that for like SummerSlam at least.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. That's a SummerSlam type of thing. If they can build, if he's not in the Money in the Bank, he can kind of beat the kind of type of mid-carders and then get that match against them. That's a hard-hitting match. There's definitely a lot of things in play, especially with.
I'm very high on Bronson Reed. I don't know why. I just love that. Like
he can go. If you're a big guy that can go,
Bam Bam Bigelow vibes.
If you're a big guy that can go, you should be in those type of spots, in those type of matches. Like he's entertaining, and especially when you're that big and that agile and can actually move and work. That's good. That's dope. And especially those. I still remember those hard hitting matches with Lashley. Like those shits are like yo. And to put him in that type of environment like that, big just man, like that, Lashley.
Big meat men slap meat.
We miss Big E, man. We miss Big E.
I can't. I really hope he comes back.
Fuck you, Ridge Holland.
Bro, every time I see a belly to belly,
I know it was an accident, but shit.
It's like
belly to, what is it? Over the head.
Yeah, belly to belly.
Yeah. Oh my god! I'm like, I just think that. I'm like,
You gotta flip them, man. You gotta flip, and then the other person has to tuck their head.
Tuck their head.
Nah, that's scary, man. When you think about all the wrestling moves and stuff like that, how simply it's just like tuck your head. The Styles Clash, belly to belly, suplexes, anything off the top rope, German soup, like anything, like.
Probably stopped all them damn pile drivers.
Tuck your head, man. I watched an episode of Battle of the Brands.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. I think it was the last episode they did, where Tyler Breeze had the up, down, down championships, and they were going at it. So I was watching that a little bit. That was entertaining. I'm like, these guys are idiots. These guys are idiots.
I haven't been watching because I fell off because I was watching when they were doing like the competitions for the left, right, up, down titles, and then too much time passed, and I don't even know who has the title.
I was so far back. I'm like, I'm not going to watch those old episodes. I'm just going to
watch it. I do want to watch them playing Tekken though, because they've been doing character mods. So he's been
I got to check that out. I think
they play a lot of Tekken. So I forget who. I think it was like Jay and Jimmy. They're like, "Yo, pick your character." And it was like, "All right." It's like, go to the costumes and go all the way over. And he's like, "Is that me?" And then so they'll play he plays with Brian, but it looks like Jey Uso or whatever. So it's like they did the whole mod thing. And he's been doing it for mad people like Kofi, Karrion Kross, Ricochet, like mad people.
Because I always skip those, but I gotta check that out. I'll check that out. No, that's what I watched the episode. I'm just like, these guys are so stupid. And I'm trying to understand it by watching it. It's just like the level of detail they have. They have notes. They're writing shit down.
They legit have the general manager notepad. This is the SmackDown manager. This is the Raw manager.
They're
crazy. Taking that shit serious.
No. They take it too serious. They keep track of everything.
It's so entertaining. I'm telling you, just watch the WrestleMania episode, and you don't have to sit through all the matches, but get to the end where Tyler Breeze is just like, and it's just like, this man lost.
I gotta check it out, man. That WrestleMania.
It's a good episode to watch.
All right, but if there's nothing else to talk about, we got through it. We got through Night of Champions.
Oh, there is one more thing to talk about. Tony Khan had a big announcement tonight on AEW.
I was just telling them.
They finally, and I'm glad he made this announcement because they've been speculating this shit for months and months and months. We done seen story after story. This man's been relevant in the company since the fatal night in September. So CM Punk is going to be on the first episode of AEW Collision on June 17th.
Woohoo!
Well, I'm like, I was saying to Lewis, I'm like, they should have kept that a secret. They should have kept that a secret. Because people,
everybody knew. Everybody's been speculating.
Yeah, but I mean, like, we know he's
going to just say it and then get your ticket sales up.
There was
get something out of it.
There was so much off reporting on it. Like, some people were like, they haven't even talked to Punk. Oh, there's reports that they're gonna have a meeting with the Bucks and blah, blah, blah. Oh, there's reports that they haven't even spoken to each other. Oh, it's like nobody really knows. It's like a lot of these people are just out here putting their opinions and just trying to get like, oh, read my story. This might be happening, and it's just like no one knows.
Dave Meltzer,
Brian Alvarez,
Brian Alvarez,
especially Alvarez. CM Punk went at his neck last week.
Oh, did he?
Brian Alvarez, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He did.
What did he say?
Because Alvarez pretty much, I think, had like a share the story about just like how everybody else is about the situation and what's going on, and that because Punk wasn't in the AEW Collision material that Warner Brothers was showing off at their convention. Because he wasn't in it, they're saying, okay, things are now going backwards now. Obviously, things haven't been worked out. Punk saw that and then went on his Instagram story and pretty much said, "Dude, fuck off," because you don't know what's going on. You don't know what's going on.
This is my thing. I don't know how these guys get all this info. Like, you literally, and that's the thing. I feel like with these companies, like, they know how to leak stuff. And they're like, if we really want you to know, we'll sprinkle a little, like. They know who to talk to and be like, hey, can you tell me what's going on? If they really want this shit to come out, it's going to come out.
No, but it's just like, again, as I was saying, like, CM Punk, they should just, we know CM Punk was going to be there in Chicago. People are going to buy tickets. You didn't have to announce unless ticket sales were bad. But it's like, I don't think in Chicago they would pass that up. You know what I mean? So
it's the first show, and it's like, they want this whole Saturday, and do you know why? Also, because they want people to really tune in, especially for this first show, because they need to draw in as many people and then be like, okay, maybe I should try and check this out on Saturdays, even though it's a horrible time slot. But it's like, I guess maybe we'll take this one Saturday and like actually check it out.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I was one of those people that I watched the CM Punk run when he was in WWE, and I remember the whole pipe bomb thing, and I was like, oh, it's crazy. I'm like, they just doubt this man, blah, blah, blah. They just talk shit because he's that good and this and that. And then when he finally came back, I was like, this was like a full, like, wholesome, like,
story. Yeah.
We've been cheering for this man to come back for like 7 years, and he's back. But then with all this shit happens, I'm like, so is all the shit that we were hearing about him back then just true? Is he just really an asshole? Like,
I mean, he's never denied that he was an asshole.
No, I've seen it, but it's just like, is this thing that he just is not capable of working with people? Is that just like
he's so toxic?
I felt like in an AEW just gave it that, like, all right, we're in a new place, let's bring this shit up, and then to have all the EVPs, blah 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 blah. It's just like, bro, you're really starting shit up again, and then all this shit happens. With honestly fucked everything up because everybody just wouldn't stop talking about it, and it was just taken away from the product. So it's like, now I'm like, I honestly don't even bring the dude back because it's just like, and then at the end of the day, did all that stuff even really happen? Because they all came back so fast, and I guarantee Punk's only back because he's probably finally healed. So,
yeah, that too. He's probably ready to go. But
you know what I think? I think, and it's not just Punk. It's a lot of these guys who come from WWE and go down to AEW. Because when you're in WWE, especially, when Vince is in charge, you know who the warden is. You know that Vince ain't necessarily gonna try to be your friend. He's gonna book things his way, and if you don't like it, there's the door. But then some of these guys dealing with that mentality. Now you come down to AEW, and now you got a guy in Tony Khan who's a fan at heart of professional wrestling, doesn't have the experience, and then you start to think, well, if he doesn't really know it, but he's a fan of it, I can probably get away with more, or I can probably talk to him more and convince him more, and get my ideas out there more.
This man was winning every pay-per-view.
Exactly, and that's not necessarily can be the best thing sometimes. That's the reason why some of these guys like Miro and some of these guys thinking that he doesn't know as much as Vince does, so I can come up in there and get it my way and get all the opportunities I want.
The best man,
exactly.
That's the thing. Miro he had when he was like, was there. I feel like he had a great character. Like his promos were crazy. Like it was almost on like some Bray Wyatt shit. It was like talking to God and some shit and whatever. And I was like, yo, this is so cryptic and like still like it's capturing me. And then I don't know, he just disappeared. And I was like,
where is he? Andre Andrade. Where is he?
He's another one. Him thinking he should be booked more. Now he's suspended. So he should be my first example of guys that come from WWE thinking that I'm in an environment that ain't as strict, so I should be booked as the top guy, or at least I can try. Or at least I can try.
WWE just booked them right. We had it.
They can't.
We had Rusev out at WrestleMania with the Tank.
So fire!
One of the best entrances ever.
And you had an over Rusev day, and you just couldn't give this man like
a title shot. Didn't even get a title shot.
IC titles. Jesus Christ!
Because Vince is a hater. Because Vince is one of those guys that like if you get over, but you don't get over the way he wants you to get over.
Yeah.
then he looks at you and you're a lost cause. Like I told you to be a heel. I don't give a fuck about no damn Rusev Day. I wanted you to be a monster heel. That's what I wanted.
Hey, Daniel Bryan did it.
Loses
but Daniel Bryan was different.
Loses his wife.
Exactly. Daniel Bryan was like, okay, the fans, we're gonna keep doing this over and over in every city until you realize how great this guy is. Mm-hmm. And we saw Daniel Bryan week after week after week to the point where it was just like, okay, it's not just the yes chant. He actually is fucking good.
Yeah.
we see my thing about like and that whole thing they were talking about that. It's like, how don't you see this guy is good? And he was putting on bangers with CM Punk, like the CM Punk reign. Like he was one of the first competitors. They had bangers in matches that were crazy. Like these guys were wrestling, so it's like, how don't you know this guy's good or not?
He comes from that era where everybody has to be huge, and that's the only way you're gonna be that top guy. Nobody's gonna. And to think that someone like Punk had the reign that he had, and he had the skills to back it up, but the mic skills were just like. I look at clips of like the shit Punk was saying. It's like MJF now, and you're like, yo, this dude is really saying this stuff like
to his boss.
Yes. It's like, yo, this man was literally talking shit. And it's just like, yo, if this is a complete work, my God, these guys have like the mental fortitude to like take this shit.
But no, Punk was awesome. Punk was awesome during that run, and it's just like guys like again, just talking about Miro, Rusev. Like that guy was so over. like everybody was ready for him to turn babyface. Like everybody was ready for him to do that. And if he was going to be a heel, at least book him like a badass heel.
Like he was though. He was booked so good. He was undefeated until John Cena beat him, wasn't he?
John Cena. Gotta love it. Hey, we never got the U.S. Open challenge out of that.
But I hate.
I remember that because then they jumped right into that storyline of trying to break up Lana and Rusev, and then TMZ found out, they're actually married.
I hated that Bobby Lashley. Ugh. Horrible.
Yeah. Daniel, please tell me that you remember, because I remember we were talking on Facebook during that Lashley and Rusev storyline. I specifically remember you saying after Lashley had came out on stage with Lana that week. You were like, "Yo, if Rusev doesn't come out and beat his ass within the first 5 minutes of Raw, I'm not watching this show anymore."
Because it's like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's just crazy. It's like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You guys had it.
No, yeah, I remember. I remember that.
It's just like that. That was at peak. That was like peak Vince McMahon terrible booking. Like I saw it on the wall. I'm like, they're burying him. They're burying him.
I was like, who asked for this? Like, why would you put this man through
And especially
this his actual
Lashley,
wife?
that was Lashley after like the whole sister gimmick with Sami Zayn. That shit. So I was just like, what are you doing?
That was probably Lashley's worst promo ever.
It's like you have two powerhouses doing dumbass storylines. And this
I still can't believe he had Roman saying suffering succotash. I will not let that die.
I still can't believe they had Roman feuding with Big Show and Roman telling stories of Jack and the Beanstalk. I remember that
shit. Vince was like, this is how you get over with the kids. We need that kid merch. We need that kid merch. No, that was terrible, man. The Big Show at that point in time. The Big Show. The Big Show. Nah, that shit's terrible, man. That shit's terrible. But now we can wrap this up, man. This was a good episode. We can continue down with the build to Money in the Bank. The fallout of AEW, of course, we got CM Punk coming back in NXT, getting interesting as we have Ali and Baron Corbin coming into the fold here. So we're going to see how that develops. But we'll pick this up next week with more wrestling, of course, with SmackDown and Raw on Monday. And we'll pick it up again, guys. Thank you guys for coming. The Bloodline. Are they still the Bloodline?
Well, when they got drafted to SmackDown, the Bloodline was Roman Reigns, Solo Sikoa, and Paul Heyman. When they got drafted, they were called those three were called the Bloodline. So I guess so.
I guess they're still intact
for now.
All right, but you guys have a good one, man. Thanks for joining me.
Yep,
yes, sir.